Excellencies, honored guests, alumni, members of the faculty and staff, candidates for degrees, friends, President Fadlu Khouri, I declare that this 150th commencement of the American University of Beirut to be now assembled and in session for the purpose of the day. I also proclaim open the 17th ceremony since 1969 for the awarding of honorary doctorates at the American University of Beirut. By conferring degrees on these outstanding individuals, AUB reaffirms the institutional values that have been the foundation of its excellence and of its renown.
Excellencies, trustees, faculty, staff, students, parents, and especially the remarkable class of 2019. Welcome to your graduation. This is the moment when you finally join the illustrious ranks of the men and women who are proud to call themselves AUB alumni. You have earned that right through your hard work and courage and resilience in the face of challenges. Tonight, we celebrate as you take your places among a fellowship of AUB graduates who have transformed the world around us. But wait a second, I hear you thinking. What is so great about the world in 2019? What have foregoing generations here in the Middle East, or around the world for that matter, what have they done except fight futile wars, degrade Earth's ecosystem, or drive unimaginable inequality between those able to hoard wealth and power and those who have nothing? It would be a glib argument, to say the least, to imagine, however, how much worse this world would be without the mitigating effects of AUB graduates, without the leaders that have emerged from this university who share the very same enduring values that you have learned and earned, of social responsibility, of fairness, of integrity, of respect for peaceful dialogue. It is true that many indicators tell us that our world is becoming less healthy, less happy, less secure, and less viable. The question I put to you on this, your evening, AUB class of 2019, is what are you going to do, each and every one of you and all of you collectively, to make a difference and to make the world a better place? Nearly 50 years ago, William Stanley Merwin wrote his poem, Good People, in response to the slaughter of the Vietnam War. It's a short but very sharp poem, and I'd like to read it to you now. From the kindness of my parents, I suppose it was that I held that belief about suffering, imagining that if it could come to the attention of any person with normal feelings, certainly anyone literate who might have gone to college, they would comprehend pain when it went on before them and would do something about it whenever they saw it happen. In the time of pain, the present, they would try to stop the bleeding, for example, with their own hands. But it escapes their attention, or there may be reasons for it. The victims under the blankets, the meat counters, the maimed children, the animals staring from the end of the world. In the time of pain, the present, just as Maroon was describing the world in 1972, we're now living in a time of pain, of deprivation, the present. And heeding the warnings of climate scientists, of specialists in water and food security, of historians of tyrannical and demagogical regimes, the pain of our present time is most likely nothing as compared to the unknown pains that might lurk in our future. That is, if we don't take action now to change the course of our future stewardship of this planet and the life that it harbors. We cannot, and I know that you will not, accept this state of affairs. We must believe there's something more that we can do than stand on the sidelines watching the victims under the blankets, the meat counters, the maimed children, the animals staring from the end of the world. In your years at AUB, you will have learned that there is purpose in life. That pivotal word in the AUB motto, which you see every time you walk through Main Gate, life. That they may have life and have it more abundantly. Another American literary great, Ralph Waldo Emerson, got it mostly right when he wrote, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well." That you've lived and lived well. Our 4 honorands this year embody that refusal to accept things as they are, to allow unjust things to pass. In the immortal words of Robert Kennedy, some men see things as they are and ask why. I see things that never were and ask why not. After graduating from AUB and spending his career at MD Anderson, Aub Classical has methodically waged war on leukemia and on the concept that healthcare is a privilege of the few, not the right of the many. Rita Roy has created a master plan to put the continent of Africa to work through the MasterCard foundations, recruiting universities, entrepreneurs, the public and private sectors of nations to create a future for Africa with learning, jobs, and hope. Hanan al-Sheikh has shattered the myth of the subservient Arab woman in literature, emboldening generations to re-examine the full content of womanhood and the full possibilities of their futures. As for Fawaz al-Ulabi, all this humble Damascene has done since leaving AUB some 50 years ago is to revolutionize terahertz technology in developing new types of industrial sensor applications, thereby helping trigger the 4th industrial revolution. These 4 have refused to stand passively, in the words of the great John Lennon, watching the wheels go round. But now it is your turn, graduates, to go out into the world full of confidence, privilege, and awake to opportunity. And you will learn, ever so slowly but ever so certainly, the painful price of privilege as today's reality dawns on you. Of you, the class of 2019, I have no doubts, and I believe that you will come to have no doubts. You are intent on pursuing that ideal to live well, to live more abundant lives. You've already lit up villages throughout Lebanon. You've given your time to build bridges between Lebanon's refugee and host communities. You've provided for the education and the healthcare of the most underprivileged people of this region. You have partnered with people with disabilities to make their lives more full, and you have made major differences for those without privilege and migrant workers. You, our students, are already young leaders in health, in business, in science, in the arts, in agriculture, in engineering, and in so much more. And you are partners for a better future. Coming from Uganda, Algeria, Ghana, Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, the United States, France, and so many, many other countries across the globe, the world waits for such leaders. What advice can we give you on your last day as students on this, your beloved campus? First, I want to say, while I agree with Emerson in principle and think that you should find something meaningful to spend your time on, after all, you are the best and brightest, and you are the hope of the times to come, but you're only going to fulfill that hope and your dreams and aspirations if you choose to do something that makes you feel fulfilled. A role, a job, a career that can make a difference for you and for others. And pursue your passion. Do it well, do it fully, and whenever you can, do it with others. Our trustee, Marwan Moashir, was trained in mechanical engineering at AUB and at Purdue. Yet he chose to follow his passion and commitment to political and economic inclusiveness and reform in these, our Arab lands, which so badly need inclusiveness and reform. While the world certainly could use another brilliant mechanical engineer, especially an AUB and Purdue trained engineer, it cannot do without a brave and tireless intellectual leader who sees things, in the words of Robert Kennedy, that never were and asks why not. So here's where I disagree ever so slightly, but significantly with Emerson, much as I admire his idea of a life well lived. Happiness is important. It is a goal, and it is a goal you must pursue. Focus on it. Spend time on it. Live balanced, happy lives, but also lives of purpose where you enjoy what you're doing. Many years ago, my colleagues at Emory University, in a mini revolution when I would make them come in at 6 a.m. twice a month, argued that I was ruining their work-life balance. How many people here have heard of work-life balance? Have you achieved it? No. My answer was, that's funny, I retorted. Life is what you get back when I find someone younger, smarter, and cheaper to do your work. Instead, perhaps the words of William Shakespeare can modify those of Emerson and my own obsessive nature. Shakespeare said, love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. Many of us cross long, arduous roads, lonely, alone. From the experience of my own lifetime with my compañera, la mia Tannus, the company of friends and loved ones is a much better alternative. Happiness is a goal. And so my brave and distinguished and accomplished AUB class of 2019, go forth in peace to make the world a better place than that which you found before you. I'd like to ask you to stand now, turn and salute your parents and families, your friends, your husbands and wives, your compañeros, your compañeras. So as Hippocrates, father of Occidental medicine, once wrote, life is short, art long, opportunity fleeting, experience treacherous, judgment difficult. But that road and that life is much, much more enjoyable in the company of friends and loved ones. Congratulations, class of 2019. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the two student speakers for this commencement. Our first graduate speaker this year is Kelvin Kimani. Kelvin is graduating today with a Master's of Science in Food Security and is one of our MasterCard Foundation graduate student scholars. During his time at AUB, Kelvin has earned a certificate in negotiation and conflict resolution, worked as a graduate assistant, and completed an internship in his native Kenya, supporting internally displaced persons and small-scale rural farmers. He also found the time during his studies, which he excelled in, graduating with honors, to volunteer to teach refugees in Lebanon. The journey that brought Kelvin to where he is today is extraordinary. After starting out as a child living alone in the notorious Mathare slums of Nairobi, Kelvin refused to let a narrative of suffering and hardship determine his future. Now fully in charge of his own path, Kelvin remains committed to making a transformative impact in his home community and helping others realize their own transformations. Kelvin, the stage is yours. Congratulations.
Habari zenu. That's how we greet in Nairobi or in Kenya. Thank you very much. Well, the President has introduced me a bit, but I was wondering if that's me. It's too much an honor to be introduced like that. I grew up in the streets of Nairobi, Kenya, in extreme poverty. And I was around 2 or 3 years old at that time. I barely had enough to eat, and I had to rely on begging from strangers. I had no home or house to go to in the evenings. Usually, I end up sleeping on the pavement or out open in the cold, sometimes even in extreme weather conditions. I did not have the experience of love. And as I had no parents or relatives, but I equally realized that my life depended on the generosity of strangers. So many were the days that I met kind strangers who inked the signature of their generosity on me. But equally, as you can imagine, many were at the days that I slept hungry on the cold pavement because I met people who could not sympathize with my situation. I remember of a particular incident. One day it was raining really heavily, and I was on my pavement, some kind of my corner. And thank you. And I had no warm clothes. I was hungry, and I was just there. And this couple approached me, and they asked me, "Why aren't you going home?" I said, "I have no home." They asked me, "What about your parents?" I said, "I have no parents." So they took my hand, took me to a shop, bought me some clothes, some blankets, and gave me some food. This incident is forever in my memory because it reminds me of my service to humanity and to those who are in need. You know? It reminds me of the great hope, of the love and the life we create when we selflessly give to those who are less privileged, even if we don't know them. And you know, life is full of so many untold heroes and heroines. Maybe for you, some of you, it's your professors or your parents. For me, my hero was a simple missionary priest. He's the one who took me from the street. He gave me a home, gave me a family, and he educated me. He instilled in me values that I was not taught in school. Told me about Jesus, told me about the love of God. He taught me that the rock bottom that I came from can be a very good foundation to build and transform not just myself, but the community as well. And I stand here as a testimony of the selfless sacrifice of that priest. Thank you. So, in AUB, I've had the opportunity and the fortune of being in one of the most amazing, the best, and the most academic demanding program, the food security. And you can see I'm here because of that program. The program has taught me and equipped me with skills that I hope to use in the future in Kenya, in Sub-Saharan Africa, and in the world to elevate poverty and to feed people who are hungry. It's our first call in food security. I also hope one day to help in the SDG goals, the goal number 2, which is ending poverty. So, as I look at you, the graduating class of 2019, I cannot help but drift back to my time in AUB and here in Lebanon. I'm sure we all had exciting times that now will be part of our memories. We had challenging times that shaped us, withstand the storms of life. And I don't mean sleeping in graduate rooms, working on our theses, or trying to create ways to avoid fleecing taxi drivers. We made friends, or at least I did, that we shall eternally cherish. We learned to achieve excellence in our various fields of endeavor, such that nobody could ever do it better. I say to do the ordinary extraordinarily. We've also acquired in AUB the commitment to give back to our communities and to humanity. And I have hope in the future every time I look at you guys, because with you are the cosmic values that you'll take from here: respecting other people's opinion, transparency, integrity, accepting people of different races and color, accepting people of different religious backgrounds. And you carry with you revolutionary ideas that will transform our world for a better tomorrow. So we are challenged more than ever to take these ideas and fulfill them with us. Now, from your faces, you're really excited, gleaming happily and excitedly. You're looking to carve paths for yourself in your various field of endeavors. I don't know what the future holds for you, but I know this, that the most accomplished and the happiest among us will be those that will search and find ways to give back to the communities without counting the cost. And those who will create hopes in others without ever getting exhausted. So let us look at this future and ask ourselves, what contribution to the lives of others will we be making? You know, we will be making a living by receiving from others, but we will make a life by serving others. So, final lesson as you graduate that I can give you, because it has helped me a lot in AUB, is that for the last 2 years, as a MasterCard scholar and an AUB student, is that I have learned that and discovered the fact that the simple gift of giving back becomes an elaborate, rich aftertaste of a natural, blissful feeling that will linger within you and in the lives of others. Finally, as I wind up, may you all live in exciting times. May you find what you're looking for, and may you find true happiness and joy in giving back and in serving others. Shukran, asanteni, Mungu awabariki.
Thank you, Kelvin. Our second student speaker is Ms. Jana Qantar. As an undergraduate at AUB, Jana made the honors list every semester, was awarded the Lies Rawi Student Award in Economics, and graduated with distinction in 2017. She is now graduating with a master's in economics, having achieved a perfect 4.0 GPA. But this relentless pursuit of perfection, while it has marked Jana's entire academic career and will no doubt continue to be her hallmark in future endeavors, does not define her. Jana's hobbies include researching applied quantitative methods and researching data mining techniques, which should tell you something about her intellectual initiative and enterprising spirit. As a graduate student, Jana has worked on numerous research projects, including those focused on narrowing the gender gap, studying and narrowing the gender gap in STEM fields and women's economic empowerment. She is now emboldened to pursue research that will inform policy decisions around issues of inclusion, equity, and social justice. Jana, the podium is yours.
President Hariri, members of the Board of Trustees, esteemed deans and guests, faculty, families, and the class of 2019, I'm extremely honored to stand before all of you today. 5 years ago, we have arrived here full of aspirations. Aspirations of what an education within these halls can help us achieve. We have arrived here with dreams about how our lives would change and how we can inspire change in our community. An unfaltering will to have life and indeed have it abundantly. I remember the first day I entered economics, excited to learn about the issues I see daily all over social media. Financial crisis, taxes, and globalization. Only to later find myself working on issues that deal with much more than that. I saw myself working on research that empowers refugees and the poor, research that supports better labor market outcomes for mothers, and research that empowers women to enter STEM degrees. I also realized how small changes in the environment, through a simple nudge, can influence behavior to the most positive and desired outcome. With each experience, I appreciated the full worth of my discipline and found my purpose in life. As the days passed by, what started for us as a simple journey to seek knowledge has become a life passion and a heartfelt desire to make a difference. Problems previously believed to be unsolvable quickly dissolved into new opportunities and challenges for us to take on and learn from. We became agents of positive change who sought constant improvement of the conditions and matters around us. Our clubs here at AUB fight for human rights. Our journalists fight for freedom of expression. Our researchers fight for societal change. Our elections fight for political justice. We came to realize that aspiration is the foundation of learning. Yet, graduating from this institution instills in us the obligation to spread our aspirations into our communities. This is our biggest challenge. My fellow graduates, each one of us had a multitude of unforgettable and life-shaping experiences during our time at AUB. It could be as simple as a conversation we had in Jaffet Library, a competition we took part in, an inspiring talk we attended organized by our favorite club, or a chat we had with students from different backgrounds and with different ideologies. Accumulations of people, ideas, and life lessons I hope we reflect upon, and as we leave this academic heaven, I hope we pass them on, we share them with the world, and use them to build our influence. Thank you, AUB, for taking our hands on this beautiful journey of change and growth. Thank you for being this environment of diversity, student activism, and overwhelming love and support. You've been our safe refuge, our meditation retreat, and the place where we really feel untouchable. But now, But now comes the time to test our resilience and vulnerability. Today we enter a world drowned with its problems, from climate change to inequality, divisiveness, social marginalization, and many, many more. I can understand that some might feel a sense of despair. I can understand worries about sustainable development, about the wellness of our democracy and civil society, about the future of our country. But let's face it, we are the generation that will have to push for change and keep pushing harder. And I'm hopeful we will, because wasn't here that we learned to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and dare to dream and realize our dreams. Tonight, let's give ourselves the promise to work hard and keep walking the road, to take initiative and get in the game, to be present, to be in the present, to take risks, and above all, to embrace change with passion, with integrity, with compassion, and with love. Finally, I cannot leave without thanking all the special people in my life, without whom I cannot be standing here tonight. My professors, my friends, my brothers. To my brother Raed, who once stood at this podium, you've always been my source of inspiration. To my parents, Iman and Riyad, you are my guiding light. Thank you all. Congratulations, class of 2019.
I now have the great honor to confer the honorary doctorates in humane letters on 4 outstanding luminaries. This year, we honor instigators who question prevalent and conventional thinking. They challenge how we view the world, and they improve how we live it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the essence of AUB's mission. These 4 honorands capture this mission in boldly promoting unconventional liberal thought, fair and inclusive access to health and education, and innovation and knowledge for a sustainable and abundant present and future. An acclaimed writer, a renowned physician, a thriving advocate for the vulnerable, and a distinguished scientist. They are constructive movers and shakers who have never allowed themselves to be intimidated by restrictions or by resistance. Inquisitive about the world's present and its future, they propose unexpected and initially unaccepted solutions and ways of thinking, and they have implemented changes for the betterment of all. AUB is proud to recognize these 4 leaders with AUB's highest honor, its honorary doctorate, as inspiring symbols of the AUB way. May I please ask the University Provost, Professor Muhammad Harajli, to join me on stage. May I ask Hanan al-Sheikh, one of the most acclaimed award writers in the contemporary Arab world, to please step forward. Hanan al-Sheikh, your brilliant portrayal of the human psyche has opened eyes and hearts around the globe to the reality of our region and our world. You capture the power of the word to enrich and retain experience. Novels like The Story of Zahra, Women of Sand and Mir, Beirut Blues, The Locust and the Bird, short stories like I Sweep the Sun Off the Rooftops, and plays like Dark Afternoon Tea have made generations laugh, cry, fall in love, rebel, and learn about human existence. You have inspired generations with your courage as you calmly challenge the norm and you look unrestricted at real, present, and complex dynamics of power struggles, patriarchy, and the plight of women. Even your retelling of stories finds its own unique way to informally and intimately shed light on the most unexpected angles. Your writing, translated into 21 languages, and your literary activities continue to find their way deep into the hearts, minds, and souls of people, inspiring generations around the world. Please step forward, Dr. al-Sheikh. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Hanan al-Sheikh, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Mabruk.
I always wanted to get a degree from college, especially from AUB. Luckily, I'm receiving this doctorate without passing mathematics, since the only math I know is using my 10 fingers. How I wish Sit Labwa could be here today to see the Tush in class receiving this honor. It shows you that whoever you are, if you follow your heart and believe in yourself, you can be who you want to be. From a young me, looking through the gate of AUB, dreaming I was a student there, now here I am, a grandmother, standing on the stage inside Greenfield, profoundly accepting, proudly accepting this honor. I say thank you on behalf of all the dreamers and the writers of the world. Thank you again. Thank you.
May I ask Aub Cantarjian, visionary physician, preeminent cancer researcher, and world leader in the battle against leukemia, to please step forward. Aub Cantarjian, two-time AUB alumnus, consistently creative physician and researcher, leader, mentor, tireless advocate for making cancer drugs available and affordable to all. As head of the largest leukemia practice, and I might add the best leukemia practice in the United States, your persistence and your resilience as a clinical and translational researcher have revolutionized the treatment of leukemia. From your exacting research, your dogged determination, new treatment protocols have transformed some of the most dangerous types of leukemia from a certain death sentence to a chronic ailment with nearly normal survival rates. You have pioneered the use of new therapies and found life-saving uses for drugs that had been long abandoned. Around the world, leukemia patients today and their loved ones have you to thank more than all others for living longer and better lives. You've been an inspiration for generations who hold health as the highest and most inalienable human right, and the pursuit of good health for others as the noblest of professions. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Aub Cantarjian, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Thank you, President Fadlo Khouri. Dear friends, I was part of the AUB family from 1972 until 1981, and this included 6 years of the Civil War. Our house was destroyed, and my family left the country. AUB became de facto my home and my family. AUB protected all of us, gave us shelter and food, and educated us. AUB shaped us into who we are today, and for this we are all eternally grateful. AUB was also a paradise with saints, the physicians who stayed in Lebanon to treat the patients, who educated us and embraced us as their own children. I will name a few of many who are seared in our memory, our collective memory, forever, but who may already be forgotten by the younger generation. So it's important for me to tell you their names. Perhaps you remember them. Dr. Georges and Jean Rebez, Khalil Abu Faisal, Edmond Chouairi, Adel Berberi, Fuad Sabra, one of the funniest people and physicians I've ever known, Farid Flayhan, Kamal Bakhazi and Faisal Najjar, Brahim Salti, Noha Nwairi Salti, my mentor who started me on research, Marwan Awaida, Antoun Salim, who I enjoyed many rounds with, and Ziad Salim, Fadlo Abu Haidar, Dean Adnan Mrowi, Dean Nadim Artas, and of course, least but not last, Dean Raja Khouri, whom I rebelled against for a short period of time, and who was my dean during my stay at AUB. My deepest gratitude for this tremendous honor.
I would now like to invite a relentless advocate for the world's vulnerable, the President and CEO of the MasterCard Foundation, Rita Roy, to please step forward to the rostrum. Rita Roy, leader in transforming lives, inspiration for millions. You represent true servant leadership with your own extraordinarily inspiring story, a story of determination, of hard work, of refusing to accept obstacles, of championing the right to education for all. With your vision, you have brought a foundation that is less than a decade old now to become one of the world's largest international organizations, known for its lasting impact and for touching the lives of more than 33 million people and their families. The commitment of several $1 billion to advance education and financial inclusion across Africa and increasingly the MENA region, and the Foundation's growing programs and strategies have made the MasterCard Foundation, and you especially, deserving recipients of numerous prestigious international awards. You have a message that we all hear, strong, spoken softly, but heard loudly, that all of our students and all across the world can hear, that misfortune and financial disadvantage can never be allowed to stand in the way of capability and determination, and that transforming the lives of all into dignified, educated ones is a constant duty for each and every one of us able to contribute. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Rita Roy, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Good evening. What an incredible honor this is for me to join the ranks of degree holders at the American University of Beirut. It's only sweeter coming from President Fadlo Khouri, a visionary leader and a friend. This university sits at the crossroads of the Levant and the Mediterranean, between Europe, Africa, and Southwest Asia, between the glory of the ancient world and the desire for a future that is of greater wisdom and greater peace. And that's the legacy to honor. It's quite a legacy, and one that I know AUB will live up to. So I am thrilled to be here today, to be recognized today, but it is you at AUB in whom we are placing our hopes. I believe the most significant question for the 21st century is how we enable young people, young men and women like you, to create meaningful and dignified work that will transform our world. And I know that all of you will be partners in this endeavor. So class of 2019, I cherish this connection with you for the rest of my life, and I will cherish even more the wonders, the great and the good, that you will bring into this world. Thank you.
May I ask Fawaz Olabi, inspirational professor, mentor, engineer extraordinaire, and your commencement speaker this evening, to please step forward. Fawaz Olabi, your pioneering research in radar remote sensing is foundational and has made a transformative impact across a variety of important fields. From assessing the effects of climate change to helping doctors make better medical diagnoses, your groundbreaking work has shown that science and technology can and should be used to make the world a better place. Your innovations have revolutionized the way we view our planet, beginning with your design of the very first radar to fly on a satellite. You went on to direct numerous interdisciplinary projects with NASA, and you've been recognized for shaping the very direction of the space program in a microwave remote sensing. More than a devoted teacher and mentor, you are a true believer in the ability of education to transform and transcend. From Michigan to Saudi Arabia, as a professor, as a scientist, as a leader, you have motivated generations of students with your passion for engineering, your commitment to realizing a more humane world, a more sustainable future, and your disarming humility and servant leadership. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Fawaz Olabi, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Members of the Board of Trustees, President Khouri, fellow faculty and staff, this hat is having problems. Let me twist it one way or the other. Okay, there we go. Distinguished guests, I feel all at once honored, humbled, and elated. AUB has always been part of my soul and identity. I will be eternally grateful and will always treasure this very special occasion. AUB graduates of 2019, I salute you and I congratulate you for earning a graduate degree from the very best university I know, the American University of Beirut. A graduation address should include some mixture of personal anecdotes and sage advice. So I'll start by sharing with you a very special and dear to my heart story about my early days at AUB. The story is about Salwa Nasser, Any of you graduates have heard of Salwa Nasser? Raise your hand. That's what I expected. Salwa Nasser was born in 1913 and attended Brumana High School up in the mountains, some 20 kilometers east of Beirut. She was the first woman student in the mathematics program at AUB and went on to be the first Lebanese woman to earn a PhD in physics and from a very prestigious school, the University of California at Berkeley. At AUB, I majored in physics, and in my sophomore year, in 1962, I enrolled in a course entitled Quantum Mechanics. The course was highly dreaded by students because the math was unwieldy, and the physics of how atoms populate electrons in quantized energy states was unlike anything I knew. But the instructor was Professor Salwa Nasser, and that made all the difference. The way she explained atomic physics was nothing short of enchanting. She definitely enchanted me, and I will forever be grateful to her for opening my eyes to how lasers work, how transistors and integrated circuits are designed and built, and how the universe started with a huge big bang of zillions of hydrogen atoms. Thank you, thank you. A year after I graduated from AUB in 1964, Professor Nasser became president of BCW, Beirut College for Women, which later became coeducational under the new name, the Lebanese American University. Unfortunately, Professor Nasser died from leukemia 2 years later in 1967 at the age of 54. But her legacy will live on forever. Please join me in saluting the memory of a great Lebanese scientist and AUB graduate, Professor Salwa Nasser. The moral of the story is, be true to yourself and follow your dreams. As AUB graduates, each and every one of you has the education, the training, the skills needed to succeed and to realize a legacy like that of Professor Nasser. But always remember the famous words of Thomas Edison: genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. Standing here today, I can't help but reflect on the huge transformation the world has undergone since I was here at AUB some 50 years ago. Not only do we have zillions of cell phones, cameras, computers, social networks, and a whole host of weird names added to our vocabulary, like hashtag and emoji, the far more outstanding change is the population density of planet Earth. 50 years ago, the world's population was 3.6 billion people. Today, the world's population has more than doubled to nearly 7.7 billion. So the question one might ask is, how did the world manage to double its productivity in agriculture, in energy generation and distribution, in transportation, from training health professionals and teachers to producing lawyers and bankers, everything needed to support such a huge increase of 4.1 billion people? Who or what made such a miracle possible? Not only has the world's population ballooned by several billion, but the quality of life has also improved quite substantially. Consider life expectancy. because of better nutrition, hygiene, and huge advances in medicine, facilitated in large measure by a field near and dear to my heart, namely the field of electronics and computers, global life expectancy has increased by 8 years since 1990, with women, of course, making slightly greater gains than men. Congratulations, women. If trends seen over the past 23 years hold, by 2030, global female life expectancy will be 85.3 years, and male life expectancy will be 78.1 years. Just for reference, the 2017 life expectancy was highest in Monaco at 89.4 years, followed by Japan at 85.3, the US and Europe in the 80 to 82 year range, Lebanon is at 78 years, and the list goes on down to the bottom group of Somalia and Afghanistan at 50 to 52 years. It's a huge spread. But even in Somalia and Afghanistan, the life expectancy increased by 6 years over the past 30 years. Measured in days, and this is a very notable number, measured in days, our global life expectancy is increasing by about 6 hours every single day. That's 25%. So I repeat my question, who made all that possible? Now, we may offer many different answers, but the overarching common denominator to all answers is, it is the college graduates of the past 50 years that have collectively transformed modern society into its present form and literally saved the world from starvation and war. We still have many millions of people starving and in abject poverty, and we still witness many wars here and there. But the competition for resources would have been far, far worse had it not been for the transformation led by a group of highly motivated, self-disciplined, well-educated, and well-trained individuals comprising no more than 5% of the world population. I speak, of course, of college graduates like yourselves. They saved the world of yesterday, and it is your challenge and duty to save the world of tomorrow. When you graduate from college, especially from a high-caliber school like AUB, you deserve to be congratulated for your very special accomplishments. But you also carry with you a social responsibility. Your degrees are your very own achievements, and no one will ever take them away from you. But those degrees also represent society's investment in you. The fraction of adults who hold a college degree varies widely across the globe, from a high of 54% in Canada, 44% in the US, 30 to 42% in Europe, 17% in China, 10% in the MENA countries, and under 5% in most others. For the world as a whole, the fraction of the population that holds a college degree today remains relatively small at 6.7%, but that number represents a rate of increase of 40% over the past 20 years. Each and every one of you graduating here this afternoon is part of this very special group. The world population is expected to reach 10+ billion people by 2050. That's only 31 years away. Your challenge, together with fellow graduates the world over, is to figure out how to support a population increase of 3 billion while simultaneously dealing with grand challenges like global warming and the root of all wars and conflicts, extreme wealth disparity. Carrying such responsibilities on your collective shoulders should not detract you from achieving your own dreams. In fact, the two are intricately linked together. Your individual successes combine and integrate into a huge societal success. In closing, I say to the AUB graduates of 2019, I believe in you, and I know deep in my heart that you will prove to be highly successful professionals and a source of pride and inspiration to your families, to your communities, and to AUB. Go forward and work together to make the world a better place. Thank you, and shukran.
Board chair to step forward for a group picture. I'd like to now introduce the AUB Classical Club for this performance of Palladio by Carl Jenkins and the main theme music of, what else? Game of Thrones by Ramin Djawadi. Christian Haddad on cello, and on the violin we have Narod Saruijian, Rami Abizaid, and finally Rita Asdikian, who are Rita is graduating tonight with a master's in neuroscience and is performing in her cap and gown.
Mr. President, recommendations for degrees to be conferred today have already been made by the various faculties and schools of the university. In accordance with established procedures, the candidates who have satisfactorily completed all the requirements and are deemed worthy by the University Senate to be awarded degrees will now be presented to you by their respective deans. President Khouri, I call upon you to confer the degrees.
Thank you, Madam Marshal. May I ask the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences to please step forward.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Science in Environmental Sciences. Will all the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Arab and Middle Eastern History, Catherine Wadad al-Batrouni. Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Cell and Molecular Biology, Sabrine Faraj Fusto. Candidate for the degree of Master of Arts, Farah Abdel Malik Abu Harb. Leah Nasim Afesh. Muhammad Diya Abdullah Al-Aswad. Pamela Edi Atallah. Naila Al-Attar. Roxanne Farouchi Azar. Diala Muhammad Nabil Badr al-Din. Rana Mahmoud Baghdadi. Lino Ruwaid Bunasir al-Din. Noor Musa Dahir. Diala Jihad Dawood. Zina Muhammad Yassin Hashim. Huda Muhammad Ahbesh. Remy Bassam Hussam al-Din. Celine Wissam Aitani. Yara Youssef Jaber. Zina Habib Kaabashi. Maria Milad Kanaan. رانيا غازي الكنش، ألسا ماريا جوزيف كرم، راتبة حبيب قاسم، لارا هاكوب كشيشيان، جنى رياض أنطار، دانا وحيد معا، شيان لورنس معوض، توني دانيال مراد، روان أسعد نصر، سيرين فيصل صعب، دلوريس سعد، داريا فيليب سعيد، بول فيليب سعيد، فرح يوسف صالح، جنينا شيرين سانتر، رؤى عبد الحميد صغير، غادة غسان سيف الدين، سامية خليل التل، بيدروس بوزانتو روزيان، نسرين غازي يموت. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science: ألينا شوكت البعيني، ميليسا أنطوان البيطار نعمي، فانيسا أنطوان البيطار نعمي، كريستين إلي العطية، ميساكي سائي بوياجيان، مياسا مفيد شعار، نور مصطفى شلهوب، إلهام محمد فرحات، زينب عبد الرحمن فتفت، رؤى باسم الفيل، كريستينا طلال حداد، ريان علي حلال، أحمد داوود حتيت، العباس أدهم خليل، حسن سهيل خليل، جنان كريم، هاني أسامة سامي، ليال ماجد سليقة، شكري ألبرت سويدي، سارة رامز ياسين، النجوى وجدي الزيني. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Sciences: Yara Eli Asaf,
the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine to please step forward.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Medicine and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Doctor of Medicine, and Master of Sciences. As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, will the students awarded the degree of Doctor of Medicine please rise? In our profession, it's a custom established more than 2,000 years ago that all those admitted to the honors of the profession must first expressly take upon themselves its obligations. Now, therefore, on behalf of your elders, I call upon you to take, as we have taken before you, the oath which bears the name of Hippocrates. I shall read to you the pledge, after which you will be asked to signify your acceptance of it. Will my colleagues of the Faculty of Medicine please rise? In the spirit of Hippocrates, I do solemnly pledge before my teachers and all those present to be true to this oath. I will be loyal to the ideals of the profession of medicine and its tradition of service to all human beings. I will care for my fellow human beings with compassion, empathy, and kindness. I will follow that treatment which, according to my ability and judgment, I consider for the benefit of patients while respecting their choices and beliefs. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not perform any medical procedures for criminal purposes. In the presence of epidemics or other danger, I will not allow fear or concern for my personal harm to turn me from my duty. Whatever I see or hear in lives of people which ought not to be spoken abroad, I will keep secret. All my professional acts shall be for the benefit of the sick to the utmost of my power, holding myself aloof from any act of corruption or discrimination. In purity and uprightness, I will pass my life and practice my art. While I continue to keep this oath inviolate, may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the art respected by people at all times. Do you so promise? I do. In keeping with this pledge, may each one of you be granted a long life of service and the privilege of honoring the profession which today honors you. Will my colleagues of the faculty please be seated? Mr. President, by virtue of the authority, sorry, you are.
You're doing so well. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I think, by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Medicine to come to the stage. The first graduate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Medicine for 2019, who also graduated with distinction. Will Ms. Lama Hussein Asi please come to the stage?
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Zainab Ibrahim Awada. Katia Anis Shaitu. آثار أحمد خليل. سالي بولس الست. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine. Ibrahim Ilyas Abdallah. Khalid Ghassan Abdel Jawad. Joseph Eli Abijawdi. Christophe Asad Abized Daw. Patrick Antoine Aboujawdi. Elio Tanyos Adib. Ali Hussein Ahmed. Ala Khalid Al-Akkawi. إلي وسيم عقل with distinction. وداد سامي علامة. أحمد إسماعيل الأمين. يوسف مالك أنوس. سامر إدوارد أسمر. لارا فارس العسراوي. محمد علي عساف. ناتالي جان عطلة. جيسيكا عبدو عطية. رولا وليد عطواني. حنين عبد الحسن عطوي. جوي سامي بدوي. خليل فيليب بدور. نبيه ياسر بري. نديم عمر بيلاني. سارة وليد بورسلان. أناستازيا زياد شاهين. إلسا ماريا جاك شاهين. فاطمة موسى شمس الدين. محمد فؤاد شهاب. باتريك أنطوان شرفان. أحمد طلال شميسي. هبة رضوان داغر. مايكل ميلاد داغر. ماريلين إدغار ظاهر with distinction. محمد فوزي دكروب. فؤاد محمد سلام الدنا. كيفن جهاد عيد. هبة زهير غندور. منير غازي الجباوي. جوزيف روبير حبيب. بشار سمير هدائي. إيزابيل جوزيف حداد. زينب محمد حيدر. ماجدة علي الحج. ديالا فاطمة نديم حميدة. ديفينا جوستينا إلي حسباني with distinction. ياسمين غسان حاسبيني. موفق جهاد الحمصي. نادين طلال الحمصي. مريم خليل إبراهيم with distinction. بيرلا سهيل إبراهيم with distinction. نانسي كارول سامي عيسى. محمد إبراهيم عيتاني. سارة فائق الجمالي. ممدوح خالد الجراقي جونيور. محمد علي حسن قعفراني، سهى عبد الرحمن كلش، باسل سمعان كرم، مجد محمد مختار كيالي، ديانا شرب الخير، علي عدنان خليل، لانا عزت خليل، سوزان عمر الحج خليل، رامز توفيق كوزي، عفيف محمد خير قرايتم، ريان وفيق قطيش، محي الدين سعد الدين لبان، داليا وهيب ملاعب، إلي أنطوان مسعد، كالي الياس مرعب، نانسي وليد المئاتي، محمد ناجي المحب، علي صادق المكحل، حلا ماجد مصطفى، ليا عزيز مجاعس، حسين أحمد موسى، مصطفى أحمد مصلي، محمد حسن الموسوي، راجي شريف نعماني، باسل حسن نصار، جوني جان نيكولا، آلاء حسام القسطى، سيمون سمعان رحال، أحمد شهادي الرحيل، يوسف علي سقلاوي، محمد مالك صالح، أحمد مصطفى سنتينا، بشير أسعد شيا، كندا عصام سويدان، فيصل مازن طبارة، حوراء علي ترحيني، سيندي روبرت رابلسي، فاضل محمد جواد التركي، هشام زهير وهبي with distinction، ريهام منير يحيى، سندس حسن يوسف، جبرة جورج زرقا، مايا عطا زرقط، Candidates for the degree of Master of Science: رنا علي علاء الدين، لين مصطفى علاء الدين، ريتا أغوب أزديكيان، باسل عدنان عواضة، أماندا محمود عزقير، نور منيرة زكريا بكار، مؤيد محمد زهير بقلي، سارة نبيل بيطار، ملاك محمد فوعاني، ندى جاك حبيشي، آية محمد حرب، هلن حسن إسماعيل، سارة غازي عيسى، سحر محمد الخنسة، صفية منصور أحمد الخنيزي، ماريا بسام الكردي، أمير وسيم ماضي، نعمة وهيب محجوب، يوسف عمر المصري، سارة شفيق ناجي، آية حسن ناصر، إيمان عمر صالح، أسماء توفيق زهر الدين،
Well, if you can get a team anymore on the same line of the same page, I haven't seen one. May I ask the Dean of the Hariri School of Nursing to please come forward.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Hariri School of Nursing and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Nursing. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Nursing and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
Now I call upon the graduates from the Hariri School of Nursing to come to the stage.
The candidates of Masters of Science in Nursing are Sara Noor Abu Rihan, Maryam Mahmoud Assaf, Nai Jihad Azzuddin, Elsa Sohail Jarawan, Melissa Antoine Makhoul, Lubna Mustafa Rajab, Cynthia Michelle Rizallah, Hanadi Ali Saad, Riem Khudr Salim,
May I ask the Dean of the Maroon Saman Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to please step forward to the rostrum.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Maroon Saman Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering with majors in Applied Energy, Chemical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering Management, the degree of Master of Science in Chemical Engineering, in Energy Studies and Environmental Sciences, the degree of Master of Urban Design, the degree of Master of Urban Planning and Policy. And will all the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Maroon Saman Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering: Hisham Abdullah Ibrahim, Muhammad Omar Barakat, فرح سمير دمشقية، Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering: فاطمة الزهراء بسام محمد تقي أسد الله، نوال جوزيف المعلوف، رغيد حكمة مرسل، فرح وليد صعب، Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental and Water Resources Engineering: Elisa George Fawaz, أماني حبيب معلوف، رامز محمد زيات. Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering. Mirvat Omar Shamsuddin. Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering. Muhammad Ahmad Al-Ahmad. Amir Riyad Al-Arab. Rana Bassam Bashnaq. Rosette Maria Munir Bshara. نينا زياد بوعياش. ليا مهير بوجيكان. موسى سمعان بطيش. ريم وليد شهباز. عامر مروان الشوى. هيثم منجد بو. نضال جمال فران. محمد خير غضبان. صفاء محمد حلاوي. كريم محمد علي حسون. إيهاب مأمون حسيكي ملاعب. مريم حسن عيسى. سارة سميح جابر. محمود سالم الجزار. غدير محسن الخنسة. أحمد فرج خطاب. وضاح أركان ملاعب. زينة مكرم ملاعب. كارلا الياس مطر. محمد حسن الناصر. راغب حسن رعد. ربا محمد رزق. مصطفى علي الرز. خالد جهاد سقايا. ديانا أحمد سلهب. محمد حسن علي سنان. سارالين فادي طانيوس. حيان ناصر زهر الدين. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science. Mark Gilbert Al-Haber. منيب ربيح منيب المصري. محمد صائب سلام. Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering Management: Carl Jean Abi Jawdi, عبد الستار محمد عرب، نغم غازي شوي، كارلا طلال ضليقان، هدى نظام الحلبي، فادي عارف حمد، مروان كميل عماد، رولا معن ملاعب، غدي جهاد موسى، مروان صفوان شمس الدين، سالي نبيل سويد، هبة محمود عيسى طرمان. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Environmental Technology: هديل علي برجي، سارة إبراهيم حطيط، صفاء محمد سعيد مراد، Candidates for the degree of Master of Urban Design: ندى سعد الدين أبو زينب، جريتا لورينا شوقي الأسمر، زين عبد الله الدروبي، دنيا محمد عز الدين، غدير حسن غمراوي، مريم محمد حمية، فاليري نادر قاسم، نميتا عارف مرشاق، Candidates for the degree of Master of Urban Planning and Policy: ريم نبيل فياض، ياسمين حسن فرحات، عيسى يحيى الحاج، ريان عبد الله الكحالي، جالا محمد علي مكي، سهى سهيل منيمني.
May I call on the Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences to please come to the rostrum.
Good evening. Mr. President, as the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues of the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Masters of Science with the majors in Agriculture Economics, Food Security, Food Technology, nutrition, plant protection, plant science, poultry science, rural community development, and Masters of Science, Environmental Science major in ecosystem management. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Noor Al-Huda Hussein Amhaz, Maryam Bilal Baroudi, Alia Ahmed Al-Dirani, Salih Halim Haber, Maria Eli Harb, Zainab Mustafa Harb, Marwa Abdul Rahman Aitani, Noor Osman Al-Jundi, Majd Ghazi Qais. Our speaker, Kelvin Kimani. Noor Tariq Al-Qurq, Mira Saleh Mohsen, Niveen Abdullah Nasser, Minerva Asad Sadiq, Hassanat Mustafa Muhammad Sadr, Joanna Pierre Salibi, Raida Ibrahim Sayyid Ahmad, Waad Khalil Slim, Andrew Edgar Trabulsi, Noor Kamal Wahbe, Asil Muhammad Yasin, Maya Ghassan Milham,
May I ask the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences to please step forward to the rostrum.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences and on behalf of my colleagues of the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health, Master of Science in Epidemiology, and Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Environmental Health. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Health Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health, Mahmoud Wafa Taha Muhammad Abdullah, Molly Michael Alam, Nathalie Hassan Awada, Reem Muhammad Banat, Fatima Zahra Sami Shukr, Najla Ghassan Dahir, Karen Joseph Dow, Mirna Yusuf Dhaini, Marina Aub Atyamizian, Rasha Ghassan Ghassani, Aline Badi Al-Ghusayni, Layla Ahmed Abdul Muttalib Al-Haj, Hiba Hussam Al-Halabi, Melissa Tina Roland Hamati, Dana Khalid Juma, Inas Walid Al-Kasamani, Rayan Najib Al-Khouri, Rihab Imad Al-Muhammad, Ghinwa Arif Mundir, Asya Abbas Nuruddin, Rani Raja Abeid, Dua Hashim Muhammad Uthman, Dana Ghassan Lawaini, Ruba Yusuf Rostum, Rasha Abdul Hamoud Sadiq Ali, Mirna Fawzi Salha, Stephanie Bshara Saman, Hiba Muhammad Al-Shami, Ahmed Ramzi Shana, Zena Zakaria Slim, Gianna Hassan Tabbara, Ala Muhammad Majd al-Din al-Tawil, Rita Noel Nassar, Nada Walid Abbas, Rafal Hussam Al-Amin, Nariman George Shamaoun, Christian Joseph Al-Khouri, Mireille Mihran Leblegian, Mary Joule Abdel Ahad, George Joseph Lama, Rani Hizar Abu Khuzam, candidates for the degree of Executive Master in Healthcare Leadership, Faris Rafiq Daw, Munaf Saeed Ilyas Kaskus, Rami Zuhair Al-Muhtar, Ahmed Muhammad Takush,
Last but far from least, may I call for the Dean of the Suleiman Olayan School of Business to please come to the rostrum.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business, and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you candidates for the degree of Masters in Human Resource Management, Masters in Finance, Master of Science in Business Analytics, and Master of Business Administration. Will you all candidates please stand?
by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business to come to the stage.
Candidate for the degree of Master in Finance, Anwar Pierre Abi Abdallah. Omar Marwan Al-Abyad. فرح بسام جلال محمد أبو شعبان. لؤي يوسف العجوز. علي حسين عطوي. رنين جاك شلهوب. كرمة عبد الرحمن شحيتلي. دلال يوسف درويش. وزال يوسف ديب. روبينا طويل دمرجيان. نجاح زياد الإدلبي. هبة الله محمد خالد عيدو. كريم بسام الفتى. عبد الرحمن خليل غزاوي. سوزان طليع حيدر. رزان إبراهيم حكيم. طارق علي حطيط. لوتشيا إوديس جاكماكيان. روان سامي جلول. نانسي خالد جويش. مريم سايد جريج. رانيا نضال كشور. سارة نعمان كيوان. آية جميل مقداش. نيري سركيس ميناسيان. ميشيل يوسف نادر. كريستال جورج نصر. مها جمال الشمعة. نادين غالب شمس الدين. دانا جمال السباعي. علي محمد عفيف سليم. ديكران فريج فارتان. Candidate for the degree of Master in Human Resource Management, Dima Amin Abu Samsam. Walid Ali Ali. Jad Kamal Boudiab. Muhammad Fazal Abbas Jakwallah. Rudaina Ghassan Bousheheen. هدى معتز الحفار. ليليان فادي بوحمدان. إليلياس كنعان. إكسل أنطوان معوشي. فرح يوسف موسى ميسا عمر رزق الله جوانا جهاد ريشوني لؤي فؤاد موسى مريم غانم سليم أسامة محمد ياسين Candidate for the degree of Master of Business Administration رغيد ياسر عبد الخالق مايك منير عقيقي توني جان أنطون جوال جورج بربر جاد نخلي بولس سارة وائل الدبيسي لور أنطوان ديب مريم محمد دوكمان فادي شربل الخوري نيفين أكرم ماضي ريف خير الله الزين حسين ممدوح الحاج Candidate for the degree of Master of Science in Business Analytics خليل محمد الضو محمد وفيق حصري فرح حيدر اسماعيل برنس جوني جريس خليل منال مالك رحال نور قاسم سلامي مروة محمد سنو مريم حسان طقوش ريمون إدوار يونان خليل إبراهيم زيدان
I now have the distinct pleasure of greeting all of you for the first time as alumni of the American University of Beirut. The road you have traveled during your years at AUB has been a demanding one, and you are to be congratulated for having successfully met the academic challenges of the finest university in Lebanon and in the Arab world. Some of you will be going on to careers in Lebanon or overseas. Some will continue their education in even higher degrees. Wherever your travels take you, I wish you success in your careers, personal joy and health in your lives, and peace and fulfillment in your communities. At this point, once more, but this time as graduates, I would like you to acknowledge the key role that has been played by your families, your parents, your husbands and wives, even your children who have walked this road with you, who have contributed their financial means, and most importantly, their love and their moral support. Your success is theirs as well, and they are here to celebrate with you. So I would like you to stand, turn around, and applaud them and show them your appreciation for their constancy and devotion. Will the audience now please rise for the playing of the alma mater? I now declare this awarding of honorary doctorates and commencement exercise at a close. Will the degree recipients and the audience please remain in their places until the President and party have cleared the area? Mr. President, will you and your party please follow me?